Hello, friends of Sunday Kehwa Sips. Thank you, Mustaqbala and Kashmir Pen. Happy to be back. Happy to be back with my favorite book, The Greatest Short Stories of Anton Chekhov. And today, I want to read a few extracts from another favorite story of mine, Ward Number 6. So it is a very poignant short story exploring the theme of mental health and societal neglect. And it is also a discourse on privilege. It is about how the entitled people ignore the suffering of others. The doctor of this hospital is well aware of the poor condition of those in the hospital, but he does nothing to improve it. And I feel that the story is as relevant today as it was back in the days of Anton Chekhov. So the entitled continue to be entitled. So I'll just read a few extracts so that you pick up the book and read all the stories here. And all of the stories are excellent. You'll love all of them. So I'll just read a couple of paragraphs. So here, Ward number 6, Anton Chekhov. The porter, Nikita, an old soldier wearing rusty conduct stripes, is always lying on the litter with a pipe between his teeth. He has a grim, surly, battered-looking face, overhanging eyebrows which give him the expression of a sheepdog, and a red nose. He is short and looks thin and scraggy, but he has an imposing figure and his fists are vigorous. He belongs to the class of simple-hearted, practical and dull-witted people, prompt in carrying out orders, who like discipline better than anything in the world, and so are convinced that it is their duty to beat people. He showers blows in the face, on the chest, on the back, on whatever comes first, and is convinced that there would be no order in the place if he did not. There are 5 of them in here. Only one is of the upper class. The rest are all artisans. The one nearest the door, a tall, lean workman with shining red whiskers and tear-stained eyes, sits with his head propped on his hand, staring at some point. Day and night he grieves, shaking his head, sighing and smiling bitterly. He takes part in conversation and usually makes no answer to any question. He eats and drinks mechanically when food is offered him. From his agonizing, throbbing cough, his thinness, and the flush on his cheeks, one may judge that he is in the first stage of consumption. Next to him is a little alert, very lively old man with a pointed beard and curly black hair. By day, he walks up and down the ward from window to window or sits on his bed, cross-legged, and ceaselessly as a bullfinch whistles, softly sings, and titters. He shows his childish gaiety and lively character at night also when he gets up to say his prayers. That is, to beat himself on the chest with his fists and to scratch with his fingers at the door. He went crazy 20 years ago when his hat factory was burnt down. And of all the inhabitants of Ward number 6, he is the only one who is allowed to go out of the lodge and even out of the yard into the street. He has enjoyed this privilege for years because he is an old inhabitant of the hospital, a quiet, harmless man, the buffoon of the town, where people are used to seeing him surrounded by boys and dogs. In his wretched gown, in his absurd nightcap, and in slippers, sometimes with bare legs, and even without trousers, he walks about the streets, stopping at the gates and little shops and begging for a copper. In one place, they'll give him some kvass, in another some bread, in another a copper, so that he generally goes back to the ward feeling rich and well-fed. Everything that he brings back, Nikita takes from him for his own benefit. The soldier does this roughly, angrily turning his pockets inside out, and not let him go into the streets again. And that breach of the regulations